You're all
Back to
right.
the air, bitches.
Okay, yeah, we're live. We made it. We made it. We're live. Episode 9.
Yes! And it was a struggle, but we are here.
I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me this time.
Yay,
You
everybody.
heck
This is
yeah.
Shelby. I just need to introduce her. This is the author, thank you, of this book right here, The Devil's Dice. I'm going to link this book in the description so you guys can go purchase this book. Shelby, we are so grateful to have you on with us. Who are you? Where are you from? Tell us all the
I
details.
I am Shelby. I live in Utah for now.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm never very good about just like talking about myself. Um, I've been targeted for. It's been an ongoing situation for 22 years now. It started within the Juggalo community. It's a whole story, I guess you would imagine, after 22 years. Um, so my book kind of takes place in the middle of it because I wanted to write it in a way where people could relate to it before I get into like the beginning and how it got to that point. And then the third book that I'll write will be like kind of what happened after, because this book kind of ends at the point where the character assassination started getting really bad and I started being aware that I was being gang stalked. So this is kind of like the situation that led up to that turning point.
When was that? When did that take place in your story? What year?
So about like 2012 to 2014 is like the majority of this. I kind of like there's a little bit of like backstory that like kind of leads up to it because it was something that these people had been planning for like years before they executed it, because it involved somebody, um I guess you'd call him one of the masterminds of it, had gone to prison. And so it was like something he had planned while he was in prison, is allegedly, because
Right.
that's just what it
I
seemed
got
like
you.
it had to be. And like I started getting clarity in 2014. That's when like I started receiving like downloads and like being like, oh, this person was never my friend. This person was like setting me up this whole time. Like, you know,
So this person that planned this in prison, who are they to you? If you
um,
don't mind. And if I cross a line or a boundary, just give me the stop sign with your hand.
no, absolutely. I appreciate you asking. So, this particular person that I'm referencing is an ex-boyfriend, but he was never really, allegedly, he was never really interested in me. He was targeting me the whole time. And I had originally met him back in 2003, 2004 was when I officially met him. But and I'll talk more about it in the second book that I write, because it'll get into like the origin. But I had been in places where our paths crossed, and so basically his involvement, I'm pretty sure, like I went to this one concert and I was in the second row and I was about to pass out. So I asked the two guys in front of me, like, hey, do you think I could breathe like in between your broad shoulders here? And one of them like was like, well, if I'm not gonna let my wife up here, I'm sure as fuck not gonna let you up here. And then I had passed out like within a minute later, and I was carried out of the venue by security, and it was this whole thing. And what I imagine happened, based on things that I've written in my journal and just what I know about how everything unfolded, and also like narcissistic personalities, is I think people that saw what happened like called them like assholes and shit for what they did, because if they would have let me up, that wouldn't have happened. And I think they had an agenda for their visit, because they didn't live there. And I think it was
Like
like,
the
so
with the concert, they had an agenda for why they
yeah, I
did their
think it was like
concert
a,
there.
yes, I think it was a birthday celebration for one of them, the one that had been in prison, that you had asked me who he is to me.
Okay.
And because it was kind of around his birthday, a little bit later. But I think so. I think that they had plans to talk to ICP and propose this business idea to what I refer to as the gimmick, and this is all alleged, of course, but I think that it was about well, anyway, like the day after I passed out, like I was like in the parking lot fixing my car. Or well, I wasn't too. I was trying to have people help me do it. And there's like more to the story. But anyway, I look up, it's like in a hotel parking lot, and I look up at a window, and there's the guy from one of the guys from ICP, and there's other people. I don't know how many other people there were, but somebody waved at me and somebody pointed at me. So it was like very clear that they saw me and I saw them. And over the years, I would find it obvious that they were trying to prevent me from seeing the truth of what happened at that window.
Do you think when you passed out that you were drugged?
It's possible because before I had gone into the venue, there was, because like juggalos at shows, they're very like, they like get there earlier and they like party together and stuff. And there was somebody who had approached like where I was in line, and he was like older, and which was like nothing to me at that time. I didn't really care. But he had given me, um, I think it was whiskey. So I had been drinking, and I was also wearing a hoodie, and I should have taken it off in the venue, but I didn't. So that was also part of the problem. So I don't necessarily know if I was drugged on that particular thing, but I was definitely and I'm not sure that I wasn't given
Right.
the whiskey for like some kind of shady reason, you know what I mean? I don't know
Right.
what was in it.
So when you went to that concert, do you, I know that that's something that you did often, right? You love to go to concerts, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
did you always intend to go to that concert? Was that something that you were lured into going to, or just something that you planned on your own accord?
It was something that I had planned on my own accord. That particular concert, like at the time I had like a Cavalier convertible, and it was an older one, and I had gotten like I had to drive about an hour to get to the venue. And once I got about to the freeway exit, like my hood just like started like smoking. And um it was like when ICP played at that particular venue, they played two shows in a row there. So I had planned to be there for two shows. Um, so I, and this is going to sound really stupid, but it is the truth. Like, I had a thing for the guy in ICP. Like, I had romanticized about him for like 10 years. And that's a big part of like how this whole shit started. But, so I, was staying at that hotel because I knew that ICP stayed at that hotel. Like, although it was like the closest one to the venue, I might have been there anyway, but like it was like I was there for like trying to get closer to him. But
Okay.
I had already hooked up with him by that point.
Okay.
Ashley, Alex, do you guys have any questions or anything so far?
I know. Sorry, we're just letting you take the lead because I'm listening. So, and then, oh, well, I feel like obviously we're going to read about it, but so then that night, did anything else happen that night? Like ending up seeing him?
No, I had been in my hotel room, and I had opened, and it was like when I first checked into the hotel, I had opened my door, and just at like the time I opened the door, there was this other guy who just like happened to be walking by, and he was like, like, oh, you're cute, whatever, and started talking to me. And it turned out like him and his friend were just like hanging out with me the whole time, and like pretending like they knew about cars and like they could help me. And so like really they were wasting my time and preventing me from being able to find somebody who actually knew what the fuck they were doing. And actually
Right.
this isn't in this book. Like all this is like the origin story, and it's like it's going to be in the second book. But
Okay.
um it's how I ended up meeting the person that like that was behind the betrayal that I did write about in the first book. But anyway, um and looking back, I don't know that that was a random encounter with that guy. I have pictures of like from the parking lot where like we were working on the car, and he's got this hoodie on, and the hoodie is so the devil's dice is about this book. It's a dice rolling game. It's called Morton's List.
That's so
And
crazy, Shelby. I have to tell you, I opened up to this page. The first sentence, I purchased my copy of Morton's List in around 2005, page 10. I opened right to it. Go ahead.
wow,
I just had to tell you the synchronicity. 1010. Go ahead.
I don't know. Okay, yeah. So like there's like all, I don't know if you can see it very well. There's all these symbols that are for Morton's List. I don't know what they all mean, but there's this one, and it's kind of like a Metallica symbol for like load or reload or something around that time. And that's actually what I thought his hoodie was until later on, because even like well until later on when I like learned about this book and the symbols, and I was like, oh, he's wearing a Morton's List hoodie, and I didn't know that, but he's like, and so the guy that
Okay, wait,
was
wait,
a
wait. I have a question.
yeah,
He was wearing that hoodie before or after you purchased the book?
before I even knew that the book existed.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, so okay, so Morton's List, I guess, has been around since 1999. And I became aware of it in around 2005. Like that's the first time I saw it on Hatchet Gear, which was Psychopathic Records like online store. And I'm not sure if it was the same order or not. Like there was this one order I placed with Hatchet Gear. It was for like a Hatchet Man sticker and some other things. So I think it had to have been the same order. And like they weren't sending me the order. Like I remember like getting my mom involved and her getting on the phone and like bitching them out, and they eventually sent it to me and said that the reason that they didn't was because they didn't have the sticker I ordered. But like and it's funny because I've lived with people that would have like when I lived with people, I always had this in a storage unit, this book. Like they would have probably taken it from me because they don't want me to know about it.
Right.
When you bought that, what led you to buy that? Intuition?
At the
Do you
time I
think
was
that God was trying to guide you through something, to something?
oh no, at the time I was interested in it. Like I would have wanted to play it. The reason I never like really looked at it or played it was because it like okay, so it required oh shit, hold on. It required like a dice like this, which I really only bought to make like reels to like kind of like roll and like show what some of the dice rolls are. Until I wrote my book, I didn't have one of these, but and also it like takes an inner circle, and I've always been kind of like a loner. So what I did look at, like it didn't seem like something that would be fun to do by myself, although it does say you can play by yourself, but um so really just because I never had people to play with me is why I never did. So I just kind of like kept it aside, and then at some point like probably intuition is probably what had me keep it in a storage there. I don't know, like it's hard to say. Like so when everything like unfolded after the thing that happened at the window, because like there was always like a part of me that must have like known something happened, that like I knew that there were people there, I knew that they had been talking about me, and like there were like um like for example later on Twisted has a song lyric, and the lyric is like the warnings about the window. And it, when I heard that, it was hard for me not to be like, wait, the window, and um or like there was just, I don't know how to really explain, because this happened over like a long period of time. And it just, the more it went on, the more I knew that there was something to know, but I didn't know what it was. And it's it just went so, how do I say it? Like when I first started like being like really aware of it, it was happening in the crowds at shows. And like it was very clear to me that I wasn't welcome there, and that, and like in fact part of the gimmick was like kicking me out of the shows. And like
Hmm.
for the very first, like at the very beginning of it, like they really had me thinking it was because I was like really getting too drunk and belligerent, and like I was getting kicked out for that reason. And then I started like experimenting with like how much of anything I would do. And I was like, no, this has nothing to do with anything I'm doing. This is what they're doing. Like, it was literally, it was like, it
Right.
was like they made it almost into like a kind of like a wrestling event where like whoever got me out was the winner. Like, is,
Interesting.
and like there
So
is a dice roll about wrestling event, like wrestling. So it all connects. And then there's also back in 2006 or 2007, ICP had the Tempest come out, and they'd had a Tempest release party, which I went to. And I didn't know it was going to be just like a JCW event, which is like their wrestling thing. And I was so bored, so I got pretty drunk at that. And then the wrestlers, excuse me, one of the wrestlers got out of the ring like during the match and like came over to like the area I was in, and the other guy followed him, and he's like, you know, like fake kicking his ass or whatever. And I was just like, wouldn't it be funny to give this guy my drink right now? So I was like, here. And like I'm like, chug chug, and then everybody behind me is like, chug chug. And when he does, and then he gives me like half my drink back, and then they go back, and then it's like he won them. It was like Popeye, and that is on a DVD that was sold, narrated over ICP, narrated over the thing. They laugh at me, like they're like, oh, that's funny when Tony gets a swig of that liquor, you know, like, and
because that
like
was
I
mid
look like I'm a
thing,
paid
right?
actor, but I didn't even know about it. Nobody told me about it. Nobody asked me if it was okay. Nobody said, here, thanks for helping us with this. Here's a free copy for you. I had to buy the shit myself.
Right.
And the only reason I did was because I had a friend who was like a photographer for the venue that night. And like, so he had sent me pictures that he had taken, and he later texted me. He's like, so you're on this DVD like for that night. And I was like, oh, really? What am I doing? Because it's not the first time I've been on a DVD, but it's just like a 3-second shot of me, you know? So I was just like, I didn't expect him to say I was doing anything. And he's like, you really should watch it yourself. And so I did. I ordered it, and it's funny because if you go on Psychopathic Records, like their YouTube channel, and scroll all the way to the very bottom, the very first thing that you'll see is the advertisement for that. Um, it's like the very oldest saved video is advertisements for that DVD. But now when they do JCW, they just do it for free.
Huh.
What
So
does
like
JCW mean?
Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Oh, this is
Yes.
so intense. Ashley, did you say that that's like a paid actor? Did you just say that? Or was I hearing it?
No, I was just clarifying when she said, like when she gave him a sip of the drink, like that was like mid show, right? Like mid performance that you were obviously, and that's what's on the DVD. Okay.
Yeah, it was like they used it as like a show enhancer, and I said paid actor. I looked like I probably looked to other people viewing it like I was like a paid actor or
And you
something.
were.
Okay.
But they
Okay.
sold me. It's evidence that they sold me.
Yeah. And nobody, because they are supposed to have you sign something, right? If
Are
you're
they?
obviously,
I don't know what the law is because it was a public venue, and that's why I'm looking at this whole like CEO of that Coldplay concert, because I have my own feelings about that. It's like, yeah, I mean, you were doing that in public and stuff, but to exploit it all over the world like that is a whole different thing, in
yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Because Coldplay's making money off of it now.
Oh, you're right. Because their songs
Boom.
playing in the background. That is
Yep.
very interesting. That's a good
Like,
point.
cause it's one thing to have it on the jumbotron at your show, but then to like regenerate it into, you know, put it on social media where you're getting paid for clicks and views,
Right.
that is exploitation. And so I'm curious to know if this guy does take it to court and how that ends up.
If
Like,
anybody has the resources to do that, it would be that guy. So that is a really
mhm.
interesting point that you just made. I wouldn't even think of it like that. And obviously, like with everybody, I feel like the country's main focus is like thriving off of cheaters getting caught.
Well, it's like
But
every,
you're
go
right. It's
ahead.
like other people are making money even though this guy's probably got plenty of money, we know what it's like to be him. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Not that we were cheating, but we've all been exploited.
Right. And it's like
So
us as a society, like nobody wants to fucking keep their eyes on their own paper. They just want to see the next fucking freak show walk by, you know?
yeah, that
And
was
it's
wow.
it just feeds off of that, you know?
So I have a question for everybody. So Shelby, you were a concert goer. Obviously, it
Yes.
brought you joy. You were passionate about it. You did it often. You did it all of the time.
Well,
I know
let
when
me
I went
just
through what?
can I just correct one thing there?
Yes,
Because
please.
it got to like with the joy thing, because there was a big period of time where it wasn't bringing me joy. I knew I wasn't welcome there. I had this like very strong like fire in my spirit that was like, nobody has the right to tell me where I don't belong. I don't care if it's coming from the artist. I don't care who says I can't be there. If this is where I want to be, it's where I'm going to be. And so that's why, even though I knew that they were going to kick me out for nothing, I knew that I wasn't wanted there, I knew that I was going to be uncomfortable. That's why I still kept going. So at some point, it did bring me joy, but at some point that shifted and my motivation for going was different. And I was also really wanting to know the psychology and sociology of it, because I could clearly see that there was something, but I couldn't. I mean, it took me over a decade to figure out all the fucking pieces and how they fit together.
Right. Right. I tell people that all the time. It comes in pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you, okay, this is probably a silly question because I think I already know the answer, but it's like, if you would not have kept going to concerts, would you have experienced that targeting in other areas? And I say that's a silly question because clearly it's happening today. So,
It's
but it's like
it's
what I'm getting to is like they used that fuel to really publicly humiliate you. It was all
yes.
about the publicity of it. Every concert she goes to, she's getting thrown out. She's a wreck. I can just see the smear campaign all over this
Yep.
shit.
And then COVID hit, they didn't have the concerts anymore, so they brought that shit to my job,
There it
and
is.
it's the person who's behind that has clout for it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, which is fine. That person has brought me quite a bit of evidence too. But
Because, yeah, it's like no matter where we are, we're going through that, like a similar type of thing. Like they tried to throw me out of church. Right. And then they got me fired from my job, made sure I couldn't get a new one. Right. So then the smear campaign, she can't keep a job. She's lazy. She doesn't want to work, like the whole
Yep.
nine. And then I'm sure Ashley and Alex can relate to that in a sense as well. But it's like they will use the fuel of whatever you're doing, like how yours was concerts. It's like everybody that was involved in those concerts was being compensated or something to do that shit to you.
mhm.
It's kind of
Yeah.
what I'm wondering. If that was a question, not a statement.
I don't, I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine how it would have happened if I wasn't going to concerts. But I mean, like, I've always been like isolated from like in school and everything. Like, I've always
Same.
like not fit in anywhere or something. So
Same.
I imagine, when you're on a path like this, it's going to express however it's supposed to express in alignment with like kind of why your soul chose to be here.
Got you. That
Yeah.
was powerful. Wow.
Yeah, Shelby, you got some one-liners we're gonna be clipping.
That was good.
Yes.
That was good. What about you, Ash? Do you have any input on that statement or do you get what I was saying?
No, for sure. Actually, you guys just helped me put together a piece while you guys were talking about that. It like brought me back to, and this is totally random, but it's crazy how hearing you know what I mean? Like us sharing pings something else. So I basically, like, I just got a download that people were paid to, like, when I was a bartender, people that would purposely buy me a drink while I'm working, even though I openly admit that I would get sloshed with my peeps. People would do that on purpose to get some sort of evidence of that. Oh, look at, she's a drunk. She's a
Yeah.
drunken whore. Yeah.
I got
So
drugged in a bar, dude. And I know that it was done intentionally before I even knew or realized what was happening or what was about to happen, right? And I know they did that on purpose, just so whoever was in the bar that night was getting dirt on me in that state of mind that
yeah.
they were fucking slandering me with, well before I was ever aware that that's what they were doing to me.
Yep.
Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt.
No, that was literally it. That was just, I'm just like shocked because it's like not really like what you said. It was like similar to that, but that was just such a random, like, that I'm like, oh, wow. So,
Alex,
yeah.
what about you?
Well, with like, well, I mean, I've had people when I used to bartend also that they came in and this one time that they were like, "Oh, by the way, did you know that some girls were joking with me? Some people I knew of. This was years ago. This was like 2017 or something like that. And they were joking. They're like, "Do you know that you're on some kind of like sugar mama page?" Like,
Oh
and
my
I'm like,
God.
I thought they were joking, and they're like, "No, seriously." I was like, "No, I definitely have no knowledge of anything like that. I mean, I'm working at the bar, so obviously I'm not doing any weird shit." So, hearing people getting a certain picture painted of them obscurely, and then having people show up to your job, or selling Harleys, like, yeah, there were several people that showed up that were not who they said they were, or had a whole entirely hidden agenda, and then they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes. It could even be your actual workplace out of the gate. Like if you're trying to go on Indeed and get a job, and it's taking months and months and months and months and months, you're probably targeted. And it's a circumstance where they do have the technology to be able to reroute things. They can adjust the entire framework of a job setting to where it's all actors, and you're the only one that they think is unaware of it. And I've been in those environments. I've seen it take place. I've seen people show up as new guys, and I'm training them, and they're looking at me dumbfounded, like, wait a minute, you actually are very considerate, like you're very kind, like you're actually guiding me. And that, like, because they've told me this, and then they're gone a week later. You know what I'm saying? You could just tell they're like, something is off with this place, something's off. I'm picking up on the vibe. You catch the energy. And now, sometimes it does take 10 years or more to figure out, oh, these were those little pieces of that puzzle we were all talking about, and now the bigger picture. And that's why we're all talking to each other right now.
Right.
Like, so we're hearing Shelby's story of her individual experience, which is matching up with everyone else's stuff, which is why this kind of a talk is important, because it might seem mundane and illegitimate to any other person, but once you start seeing that the psychology and the sociology, the psychology is the individual, the sociology is you know the actual societal based group of how the hive mind works, you see, like, oh, people are taking payouts, they're going through some kind of shit, they're being used and abused and manipulated against their knowledge, probably, or understanding, signing NDAs, showing up to your job,
Yep.
messing with you, and then they're ruining their own lives and not even realizing it. And this is affecting more people than we're aware of. So yeah,
If I
that's just one little experience of mine, is the bartending thing.
And it's a slow burn. This whole experience is just a slow.
Like relatable comments, people showing up in your energy. You don't have any desire to talk to them. You don't know anybody from anybody. You're not messing with anything. And then just people show up like you're a beacon of light, and they start saying key words, code words
Yeah.
that might fit the fucking jargon that you normally speak. Like homies down the way over here going, "Hey, where do you guys get your water?" Or, "Hey, is your name such and such?" We aren't better than anybody. We just know when people are showing up playing stupid,
Playing stupid is the key. Yeah.
acting they're trying to pull information. So yeah, Shelby, what do you got?
I I got a ping off of that because so it got kind of back to when Tay was like, I just wanted to point out the synchronicity. So before we got going and Tay was working on setting everything up, I was kind of just flipping through the actual dice game, and I just it's not built very good. Pages are just falling out of it, which made it easy for me to mark my spot. But I was just like, this is one that I wanted to bring up to you guys because I know everybody here knows this one. So all the dice rolls, they're like big paragraphs and stuff, but they have like just like a little like highlight of it, and I'm just going to read the highlight of it because I don't want to read too much of material that's not mine. But there's a dice roll that is called Fast Talking, and it convinces the inner circle to speak with strangers using predetermined and often particular topics and words. So I don't know if that's not what Alex was just talking about, then
That sounds
I don't
like
know
it
what
to
it is.
me.
Literally.
It's like it's neurolinguistics. These people are being trained. Some of them
Yes.
better than others, but they're being trained. There is a facility that they are being trained at. It's like the
Yes.
dumb fuck university, and then all of them are just, you know, just drooling and farting in bathtubs and giggling to each other, thinking they're
It's
getting a fucking gift card to Dunkin' Donuts, but really they're getting a fast track to hell, most likely prison and some unsolicited encounters. So
it's
all I'm saying is the shit ain't
the
gonna
Devil's
fly for them, you
University
fucking
with
idiots.
and they teach the Devil's Playbook.
Yeah,
And then they go out and target whoever, like, you know, like people pleasers, or like, because this game, it's designed like there's a lot of like dice rolls that are just like wholesome or like harmless or whatever, and those are there so that the people get into the game. And then but there's like other dice rolls that are like purposely violate your moral code, you know, type of stuff. Like that's like what the whole idea is, or to have you get involved with like targeting other people, and then you can't back out because then it's going to happen to you. You know,
right,
it's like that's
exactly.
what that's the dynamics that this game plays off of.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Do you think every single one of these people are using it like the dice roll game? Do you think it all references back to this book, The Morton's List?
I believe it started there, and I think that they actually pick up the dice and like roll it and determine their dice rolls? Like probably not anymore. That probably got really old for them a long time ago. But as far as
Okay.
like how it shapes their agendas and their thoughts, I think it programmed them. Yes, absolutely.
That's so genius that you would come across that and study it all of these years. I've never heard of it before. Have you guys?
No.
No,
Which
Yeah,
would go
that's
back
crazy.
to what we were talking about that one night, Shelby, where you're like, studying this is a part of my calling.
Yeah.
Like this is God has me doing this, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say
I
that's confirmation there.
I have to watch the people. Like I wish that I could just ignore these people and like kind of just like not feed energy, you know, because energetically it does kind of feed it a little bit. But
Right.
it's part of my calling to pay attention to it because, and I mean, there's been people I've been watching for 10 years,
Yeah.
and after a while I can connect what's happening now to what happened then. I can be like, isn't it interesting that it kind of like died out between this year and this year and like came back all of a sudden? Like, why do you suppose that might be? I mean, I can speculate. I'm not going to say it on this live or at this time, but I mean, there is a very specific reason that I think that, and it's a big deal.
Yeah.
All of us are kind of, I don't know if it's happening on your end, but I'm getting like mic spikes with static. Are you guys hearing that on y'all's end?
no.
I'm not.
Okay, I
Yeah.
am. And
No.
then is anybody like popping off the screen for a quick second when they're talking? Like, boop.
Every once in a while,
A little. Yeah. It's like a quick load. This fly won't leave me the fuck alone though.
Oh, I hate when that happens. Okay, I was just pondering what's going on with the technology, but okay, I'm done talking. What else you got, Shelby?
Oh, I don't know. I don't. I don't really know where to pick up
Okay,
from.
so over the course of 22 years, what are some of the things that you've experienced beyond the beginning and getting targeted and attacked and kicked out of concerts and those type of things? What did it escalate to from that point forward?
Okay. Okay. So back when it first started, it was getting kicked out of concerts and stuff. It along like about that time, there was a particular, and it was the same day that that DVD with the wrestling thing I was introduced to somebody who was an employee for Psychopathic Records, and somebody one of the juggalos that I was hanging out with was the one who introduced me to that person. That person would later pretend to be my best friend, and all these people would just tell me innuendos to my face like all the time, and I would usually be able to tell by the energy they were innuendos, but some of them took me years to understand the meaning of, and I just pretended like I didn't care, and for a long time I didn't. But um when so that particular employee um got my number that night, and like over the next year would like just randomly text me, would send me just like a couple times would send me boxes of just like merchandise, to like earn my favor, I guess. And then
Yeah.
some of this is written in this book, but it'll be more detailed in my second book. But um I was targeted by people for relationships. So aside of like casually talking to him, somebody from my past came back, and I didn't realize until you know, recently that he was connected with this, and like the whole motive for these relationships was to keep me isolated and controlled. And like this is going to sound really weird, but I think that in the early beginning of the gimmick there was like they were trying to pimp me out for a blowjob, like who can be the first to get a blowjob from her kind of thing. Like, and there's specific reasons that I think that, and I will be writing more about it in my second book. But like people would like often come up to me and like talk to me for 2 seconds and then like ask me for one. Like it was like normal for me to encounter juggalos who were like inquiring about that, and I'm like, I don't think I'm making this up. I think they're really trying to pimp me out like this. But um I think like that was like for the crowd control part of it, but they didn't want me to actually like find somebody I was interested in, like, and whatever, I don't know how it looks on their side, but there's like they didn't want anybody to win. So they kept me over here, and they kept me controlled, um
Like a handler situation.
a handler
Right.
situation for sure. The first one, I mean, I've talked to Ashley and Alex, and I don't know if I've talked to you, but I mean, like, I've mentioned this guy recently I've been approached in parking lots, and like this guy messaged me later after that, like on the same day. Like, he's been in and out of my life since before this even happened, but then like it's a small world and I find out he's connected. But anyway,
Hmm.
and then what ended up happening was he brought meth around me, and at that time I was like really like not wanting to use, but I didn't want to be around somebody who was on it either, so I gave in and did. And then I just felt so much shame in myself, and I don't remember specifically what we argued about, but it was probably me projecting onto the situation, and it was probably anyway. And I had gone into the closet and tried to hang myself. And then after that, like, I don't know how long from that happening to when it happened. It was at the time it didn't seem like it to me, but looking back, it was like very clearly like knowing that there's that connection. Like he got on the like he's like, I can't have her here anymore. Like I can't have her trying to kill herself in my place. Like somebody else has to take her. And that's when the Psychopathic Records employee, was like, well, I'm thinking about moving here, and, I'd like for you to move with me. Do you want to do that? And then I was like thinking about it. And this guy comes home one day and he's like, we should get a new lease for a different place, like our own place together. And then my hesitation, he's like, are you talking to somebody else? Like he knew about it. And like, so like, and then he like, I don't know. So anyway, so then I moved to this different situation. Like, I mean, he kept me there like Rapunzel pretty much, but he was
Is this when you lived in Montana?
um
I'm just trying to think about if this is what you told me when we had our first one-on-one conversation, and
let
some
me
bald guy in an apartment. Maybe I'm tripping, dude.
I don't specifically remember the person that you're referencing to, but I mean, I've lived all over the place.
Okay,
And
sorry to
I
interrupt.
just want to like kind of reiterate that I used fake locations in my second or my first book. Um,
I'm sorry.
and you're all right.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're totally fine. I just want to be vague about where I was living at places.
Yeah,
Just
I didn't mean to
Yeah.
cross a boundary. Give me the stop
no,
sign. I'm
you
so
didn't. You're
sorry.
totally
I'll be
fine.
more careful.
You're totally fine. But back to so this guy kept me there like kind of like Rapunzel, and he like would encourage me not to work and like to an extent, and he would like pay my bills. And like what ended up happening was like, my dad died, so he helped me go see my dad when my dad was about to die, and I'm so grateful for that. But um when I came back, things were different. And well, there was one particular incident where like he was starting to get kind of violent with me, or like other people saw him getting violent with me, but I was like intoxicated and I wasn't sure that it happened, and it wasn't like something that looked like something else, because we were in different cars. And so I wasn't sure if like it looked like something it wasn't to the other people, so I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And then like after I came back from like my dad dying, like he had life insurance, so like I knew I was like coming into some money. And there was like this concert that it was like a festival kind of thing that this guy was going to go work at, and I wanted to go, and he wouldn't let me go, and I still don't know why he wouldn't let me go, but he wanted me just to stay home and do nothing, I guess. And he gave me money for my car payment, which I was going to pay off my car once I got that money from the life insurance, so I wasn't like worried, like I didn't ask for it. He just insisted like, here you go, pay your car. But instead I went to the casino, and like I had like this like confrontation with this lady about something about a Monopoly machine. I don't even remember what it was, but I like learned something deep from that altercation. And like one night, the night I got the life insurance money, and I had paid off my car, I had like paid him back, I had bought some other stuff, and like we were like, between the two of us, we were like more than a 30 pack of natty ice in. And I thought it was a good idea to like tell him about the lesson I learned. And he just got like so mad at me that I spent that money on something that he didn't tell me. It didn't matter that I had already paid it back. It didn't like he like, and anyway, it turned into a domestic violence situation. And that's like how they lost control of me at that point. And then probably that's kind of probably why the guy in prison started talking to me more. And eventually I just like kind of was like, I could just keep like running into like Mr. Asshole all over the place. Maybe it's the universe telling me that I'm supposed to be with this person. And but I mean at the same time I was getting signs from the universe like it wasn't like my person. But it and I mean, I talk about it in this book. Like there was a moment where my higher self was like, this is your mission. You have to go if you want to complete your mission. Like this is part of it, and you will be fine if you follow your intuition. And then that's kind of like what takes me into what the ultimate betrayal was.
Yeah.
Which was the connection with this guy?
Um, well, I
Did
mean,
that go over my head, dude? Did that go over my head?
no, the two guys that I was talking about living with, were part of it because it had to do with like keeping me isolated so that I wouldn't find an actual partner in my
Okay.
life.
Okay.
That was a big motivation of it. And it was keeping me so whatever game they were selling to the juggalos, nobody would win it, so that it would perpetuate money for them. And people would buy into it, and anyway. And then um it once the domestic violence thing, because I got charged too. My charges ended up getting dropped because I had pictures of like what happened to me, and the DA saw them fall out of my folder. He's like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "They told me that it was like protocol that both parties had to be charged, but it was probably because of whatever lie this guy said, you
Right.
know." And and so my charges were dropped, but it was like the beginning of when it seemed like they were trying to build a criminal background for me, which
Yeah.
served them when I got to Memphis, where this whole thing happened.
I just opened that page way earlier too.
That's that's wild.
That was the first page that I opened too. When you were talking, we had just started. Anyways, okay. I don't want to interrupt. Is that in the breakup chapter?
Um, the breakup chapter is kind of, it has a lot to do with like the criminal background and stuff. Yeah, because right after the breakup, like I got a DUI, which I think was in I think it was planned. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
yes, I had been drinking. Yes, I did drive my car. Yes, I was above the blood alcohol level. I was probably not showing too many signs of intoxication because I did have a problem, but I didn't get pulled over because I was driving like a drunk person. I got pulled over for something
Because you got
else.
set up.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
We all relate to that to some extent, I'm sure.
Hmm.
Um, are you open to talk about how they tried to set you up for the pew pew thing? Or
Yeah, so and it was so after the breakup, um like immediately, okay, so the breakup was set up to is like basically I moved up there and like I hadn't even been there for very long before um before these the guy I moved up there for, he had just gotten out of prison, but he was in a halfway house that was like not in the same town that I was gonna go live in with his parents. And I was there for about 3 weeks before he was like, you know, I made a mistake, let's break up. And so it was like really awkward for me, just like having moved there for like nothing, right? And he eventually decided he made another mistake and wanted to get back together because um he wasn't expecting his stepmom to like me, I don't think. And he thought that I was going to be kicked out of the house, I'm sure. And so it was going to be an awkward situation because I was still living where he was going to be moving into. And so he was like, you know, I made a mistake. Let's get back together. By that time, I was like over him, but like I knew it was going to be an awkward situation anyway. So I'm like, you know, why not? And once we got back together, it was like, he obviously wasn't interested in trying to have a relationship. He was like interested in making me break up with him so that he didn't look like the bad guy.
Okay.
And so I put up with it for as long as I put up with it before. And then as soon as I broke up with him, he's like, okay, you're moving in with this friend that I forced upon you in the first place. Although he was in jail at the time. And so I was like living with his mom in his room and it was another awkward situation, but what it was what it was. And then that person, like he was like a brother to me, like he was a better brother to me than the brother I actually have, or so I thought. But it was all just um part, like there's a manipulation tactic where like people will go out of their way to do favors and nice things for you so that you
Hmm.
feel obligated to do stuff for them when they want to collect, and it was that situation.
Yeah.
And so I was I was given possession of some money and a pew pew, and I was given instructions what to do with those things. And I was like, I can't do these things with those things. That's incriminating. So I did what my intuition told me to do. And then I got back out of there and I went back to wherever I moved to at that time. And you know, I went to another concert and I was sitting outside the concert playing Yahtzee, and I could hear people over there like, she stole blah blah blah. And I didn't steal. I mean, they didn't get their drug money back. No, but I didn't steal it either. I was given possession of it with the intention for it to frame me. And you know, because they were painting a picture of me to, they had the same federal probation officer. One of them told me, he's like, she thinks that you're the troublemaker, like she thinks that you're the bad news. And I'm like, really, why would she think that? Like, because you guys both told her that, because your stories collaborate, and you know. And
Right.
so he wanted me to be putting the drug money on his books. And I'm like, I'm not fucking putting any money on his books. Like, had he not fucking put me in a situation like that, I would have, just to help him. But like, I'm like, I can't put any money on your books because people are watching me. Like, where'd she get this money?
Yeah.
You know? And so I was holding on to the money for the most part. I had borrowed some, and I had always asked him like, hey, can I borrow this? And he told me, yeah. And I kept a like list of it until it got to a point where like, I went to see some friends, and when I came back, his mom had like decided to like, and at the time she was living with her boyfriend, I was living in her room, all her stuff was still there. It was like a weird situation, but I was paying rent. um she didn't like, you know, but like she had gone into my room when I wasn't there and like cleaned all my stuff. Like she's like, you know, like, well, are you doing coke? And I'm like, why would you ask me that? She's like, well, when I was cleaning your room, I saw this and like described this like box with a masking tape. I'm like, so you think I'm snorting my grandmother's ashes?
Oh God.
Like, I mean, it's not that I hadn't been doing coke. Like that wasn't, like, I'm sure she knew because I'm sure her son who was handing me the so I just lost the like the relapse, you
Yep.
know, like had been like telling her like this. I'm sure like she was part of the plan too. She's like, she's always on like the social media of this other guy, like comment, like now she's always like commenting on all his posts, you know, so you know, it's like her second son or whatever.
And
So
at
there's no,
this time you did it, right? Like it very much felt like she was just saying that because of she knew of the past, right? And she just kind of pointed at your grandmother's ashes as like a, oh, then what's this? And it's like, no, you're deliberately trying to make something out of nothing.
right. Well, I mean, it's like, okay, because so he gave me possession of this money and he told me, whatever you do, don't let my mom get it. Like, she has taken my, like, this situation has happened before and she has taken it and screwed me over. So, like, he put a lot of responsibility on me with this. And I didn't ask for it, I didn't want it. He gave me a pew pew that he told me that he would get an automatic 5 years for having. Okay. And so, like, I didn't want that. I felt
Right.
obligated to help him because of everything he had done for me. So, and you know,
Yeah.
I didn't really question it, but it was like later I went to go visit him in jail, and there was like this whole other situation. I wrote about it in my book, but there was like this weird social dynamic, and I was like, something is off here with these people. And like, I don't know if it was an innuendo, if it has something to do with like the origin of that pew pew. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I think this was used to somebody.
Yeah.
And, you know, I will never know, and I don't have it anymore. Um, but I held on to it for a while because what can I do? Like, can I go turn it in? No, because I have it.
Right.
You know, like I could. So I mean, like, getting rid of it was a hard thing to do because you don't want to like put it in the hands of somebody who's gonna use it, or you know, I mean, it was a lot of responsibility that I didn't want and I didn't ask for, and struggled with doing the right thing with
Right.
it. And so I mean, like, that whole like money thing was used to character assassinate me, when it wasn't used to put me in jail like they wanted, because that's what they wanted. They wanted me to take the fall for somebody else. If somebody else, you know, with that pew pew, like that's what I was supposed to take the fall for. But when that didn't work, they just had to assassinate my character with it. And so, and like, my intention was to give all the money back. What happened was he got out of jail before I had a chance to even like save anything back up. And he was in prison at the same place I was living, and he said, hey, I need a ride back home, can you come pick me up? And I was like, yeah. And he wanted me to make another stop with, you know, the money, which, you know, implies like he wanted me to take him to pick up more stuff, which was probably like undercovers waiting to, that's her, let's get her, you know. But
Yeah,
luckily my
dude.
GPS took me the wrong way on the freeway and we didn't have time, nor was there was only, of the $8,000 there was 500 when I picked him up. Like, here's that 500, sorry about that. So I mean, like, obviously he was
Oh,
pissed. But
yeah.
but back to how it got to there, because when I was out of town, like, his mom purposely set up this situation for there to be this big argument between us because she violated my privacy, and like went in and started, she like had somebody else come over and clean my room for me without
Yeah.
my knowledge or permission. And so I was pissed. I'm like, I'm paying you rent here. She's like, but it's my room. I was like, yeah, but you live somewhere else. Like, just because your stuff, I mean, you could have taken anything at any time over to Richard's, you know? Like,
Is anybody else's phone spazzing the hell out, or is it just mine?
right,
Yeah.
It's yours.
your
I
microphone.
hear what you're talking about, but it's not coming from Shelby. It's coming from yours.
I hear it when you talk too.
Oh, weird.
When
I
I
only hear
talk,
it when you talk.
It's happening right now. Let me mute my mic, and you guys talk. But
Yeah, the mic's fuzzy.
Yeah, that's weird. But Shelby, you can hear us, right?
I can hear you guys.
Yeah, I didn't hear any. It wasn't staticky at all when yeah, when she was talking.
Yeah, Taze is the only one that I'm hearing static right now.
Only right now. I wasn't hearing it like that before, just like right now.
Yeah, same.
I'm
It's
hearing
only
it
right
like
now.
crazy on everybody.
Really?
I'm gonna mute my mic and let you guys talk. You lead this, Alex. I'm just gonna be a bystander over here.
Let's see. I know. I wonder what it's gonna sound like when we play it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. I'm muted over here, and it's bad. I can barely hear Shelby over it. It's like, "Rah."
Do you think it's gonna sound like yours though when we're done?
I
Like
don't
people
know.
watching it back? Yeah.
Could probably just end it and then see what everything sounds like. Just keep it in mind for next
Okay.
week.
Yeah.
Shelby, do you want to come back next week and finish your story?
Yeah, we can do that.
Are you sure?
Awesome.
Yeah.
We can even do like more than we'll talk. We'll talk in private. But yeah, if you want to
And
come
we
back
could
on and
do
finish,
earlier too if you guys want.
yeah, I'm down.
Right? Okay. Yeah,
I have a 10
we'll
o'clock session every Monday. 10
okay.
my time, so 8 yours, 9 hers. But I can move
Actually,
her
I
if I
think
need
I
to.
work next Monday. I don't normally work, well, I don't know, like I opened up my availability at my job after like
We'll
what
talk.
happened at
We'll
the
just
last pod.
text and figure it out. We can work it out. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
it's crazy. I don't know what the hell's going on.
But that'll be good for you to watch it back too, and then we'll know for next time. Right?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
saw this. I reposted it on TikTok, but it was like if your phone's hacked, either these are the symptoms, but not the average symptoms. These are like the deeper symptoms of shit. Like I can't remember even what they were. I reposted it though because it resonated so strongly to me.
Was one of them like the camera just vibrating? Like
Yes.
I can't film videos because it literally sounds like it just starts to rattle like a fucking
Yeah, like a can. It
like
literally starts to vibrate
That's what I was
and it
just
does the.
hearing in the mic, dude. It was like,
Yeah, they're
"Rah."
fucking with it. It's hacked. Like,
so
just we're airing this out. It's hacked. All of our phones are hacked. They have been hacked. You know what I'm saying? Like, so no one be surprised by weird shit taking place. This is literally, you know what I mean? This is what it is. You know,
It is
her
also
shit
Mercury
spazzes out.
retrograde
My
too,
shit
which
deletes stuff. Like, it's yeah.
what
Yeah,
shall we say?
it's
it's
also
Mercury.
Mercury retrograde, which is, I mean, like I'm not saying that is the only, but I mean it does enhance the probability of technical issues.
Yeah, that
100%.
is a good point.
My phone's
Yeah,
been
whenever
wild for a minute
every
out of
time Mercury
nowhere.
comes in Gatorade.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Yeah, we'll figure out and we'll bring it back on to finish sharing your story because I know you're not done.
Okay.
All right, fuck yeah.
And then we'll just keep it short at an hour so it's watchable to the viewers and they're not going to have to sit with us for 3 hours. Because
Perfect.
22 years is a lot to cover.
It's a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
seriously.
That was awesome.
I like this.
All right. I love you guys.
Love
I
you
love
guys.
you.
Love you
All right.
guys.
We'll talk soon.
All
Bye.
All
right.
right.
Have a good day.
Bye. Oh, I need to yeah.